Welcome to Front Forum Focus. Today's episode is a very special one as we have a world record breaking author joining us. Not only has he achieved incredible success in his career, but he's also here to share something very personal for the first time. Abhinaba is an author from India who has achieved so much despite facing challenges, including what he's going to share today. In this episode, he'll be sharing his story and insights on how he's been able to thrive and succeed despite his condition. How are you, Obinobu?
How about you? It feels very wonderful to talk to you. It's after almost 6 months, I'm talking to you again.
Yes,
How are you?
I am fine. I am fine. So, can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got into writing?
How I stepped into the realm of writing.
Yes.
So actually, it was very much accidental. I can call myself an accidental writer, because once I think in 2019 or 2019 or 2020 something like, I don't remember exactly. In that time, I got into a writing group on Telegram, and all the members in that group used to write poetries and short stories, and used to share all their write-ups in that group on a daily basis. And I used to do that as well. So one day, from that group, a woman who was completely unknown to me, she texted me personally on Telegram, and she said then that, hey, I have read your poetries and few of your short stories, and I think that you write pretty well, and I would like to publish those poetries and your write-ups in our upcoming book. So so and I was like, what? Is it really happening? Like, I didn't even had a clue of like someone can text me and give me such an invitation. And like at first I really thought that maybe I'm getting scammed, or maybe she's a kind of a scammer or something. I said are you really are you a real publisher or not? Like, because I was very uh, I was acting like a doubting Thomas, because I was very daunted, like someone texting me personally and asking for my poetries, saying that I want to publish your poems, or I want to publish your writer. So initially I was doubting, but then after talking to her for literally an hour, my doubt completely dispelled. I understood, no, she's an actual publisher, and she did publish many books. I said that I will be very much grateful to you if you really publish my works. So, and so you can say that she was the first one, or she was the one who took my hand and brought me into this writing industry or writing field. And because of her, I got the chance of being a published international writer, and I actually became the first published writer. Because first published. Because of her, she was my first publisher who published my first book. So that's why I call her, sorry, my first publisher. So I'm very much indebted to her. So this is how I came into this field. And and if you ask me like what was my passion, or from when I started writing, when I was in class 6 or 7, I had this wonderful, tremendous passion for writing. I used to write poetries in English.
Yes. Tell us about your process of writing.
Process.
And
I think
yes,
everyone has a unique process of writing. My writing process was very much accidental. Like sometimes, let's say I'm just having my dinner, and in the middle of that, uh, few lines came into my mind suddenly, and then I was like, hey, that those lines sounds really great. Like those lines sound really great. I can continue the poem. I can add few more lines and make it make it an actual poem. So earlier I used to act on impulses. So but then I said no, I have to write you know like being very serious. Like now I
yes,
when I want to write something, I will definitely write it, and I don't uh, like I basically I don't write on impulses right now, to be very
yes,
honest. Like I
yes,
if I want to write on a particular subject, first I jot down a list. What are the topics, or what are the particular things that I want to or would like to tell in my writing or show in my writing. First I jot down those things, topics, and I make a list that this and this I'm going to include in the poetry or in the short story or whatever. And
yes,
after finishing that list, then I start writing the poem or short story. The reason I make a list, because I may forget to add few points or few important topics in my writing. So to avoid that, I make a list, then I start including those topics or imageries or things or metaphors, similes, whatever you call it. I just make a list before writing. I just don't dive into writing like, okay, right now I'm going to write and I'll write a very long poem. I don't I can't do that. But before writing a poem or whatever, I just make a list that I'm going to include this and this and that and that. So this is how I write.
how do you balance your writing career with other aspects of your life, such as family?
Oh, okay, okay. It is actually very difficult to balance like other aspects of life with my writing career. But I manage. I work hard. You can say I work very hard. But most importantly, I love what I do. Like for instance, I love writing. I love filmmaking, and I just because of that affection towards that particular genre or towards that particular work, like whether it is writing or filmmaking, just because I have that deep seated affection towards that thing, I have been able to do despite my other things, other responsibilities. Like I'm also pursuing a master's in linguistics from the prestigious University of Calcutta. And so you can understand, I'm studying linguistics at the University of Calcutta, and also uh, trying to or trying to survive in this writing field. So that is I know that is very difficult, but still, just because of the love, just because of the passion, I'm still going. I'm still running on the field.
So, what are some of the challenges you have faced in your writing career, and how have you overcome them?
Honest, the challenges I faced was not in my writing career only, but in throughout my life. I faced one single challenge was that I have a very I can how do I say, I have a medical condition, a neurodevelopmental disorder, mental disorder called ADHD, which stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. Now, what happens? The people with ADHD, they have a shorter prefrontal cortex, and also their brain cannot produce enough amount of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical which acts as a messenger. It transforms messages in the brain. So what
Yeah.
happens if you have lower levels of dopamine is that you wouldn't be able to focus on anything, like whether you are given a task to memorize something or to read a line or to just simply sit. You wouldn't be able to sit quietly, like. And so when I was very young, since then I have this problem, and I have been suffering since then, since childhood, because and ADHD
Yes.
is not curable. So the problems I face, many people don't understand the kinds of problem I face. They think that because a lot of people have this, like they think there is
Yes.
only two types of people. One is abnormal and other is normal, but they don't understand
Yeah.
that a normal person can have problems. So when I say that to someone that I have problems, they are like, no, you look normal, you are absolutely fine, you don't have any problems. They're like, I have problems, bro. I have problems like all throughout my life. And so the problems I face,
Yes.
like when I was a child, and still I kind of have I have 50% of the problem. Not that in my that kind type of severity I have, but still at least 50% of the problem still exists. The problem is that when I'm trying to read something, read a line, whether it is in English or in Hindi or in Bengali, that is my mother tongue, I can't understand what is being said in that particular line. In order to understand what is being said in that line, I need to read that line mentally or verbally 5 to 6 times. So technically, if you give me a task of
Yes.
memorizing a chapter, technically I would have to read the whole chapter 5 to 6 times more than a normal person. So, and as a result, I take five
Yeah.
to six times more time than a normal person. Like, um,
Yes.
so for instance, if I tell you that memorize this chapter in 10 minutes, you'll do it in 10 minutes. But for me, that same chapter I would take around
Yes.
60 minutes or 1 hour. So you can understand the level of suffering I had. And along with that,
Yes.
ADHD is very famous for its other problems like depression, chronic depression, and anxiety. Chronic depression and anxiety has
Yes.
no reason, like it's because of chemical imbalance in the brain, not due to any psychological reasons, but just because of the chemical imbalance in the brain, just because of the lower dopamine levels in the brain. So I've always been very much depressed and full of anxiety. I still suffer from depression and
Yes.
anxiety. I have been taking antidepressants regularly and daily
Yes.
since 2018, because in 2018 I was diagnosed with ADHD, and since then I'm on
Yes.
antidepressant, and I take an antidepressant on daily basis. So you can understand the level of suffering I had. Like I have depression on regular basis. I can't even do without medicine. So this is the level of problems.
How have you learned to cope with ADHD in your daily life?
How do I cope with ADHD? Okay,
Yes.
actually, it's very difficult to cope. Earlier, I couldn't actually. Earlier, I was very bad. I was always been a very, bad student in my school, and because I was diagnosed very lately. In 2018, I was diagnosed that I have this disorder, but I have since childhood. Okay, so actually, it is genetic. It is genetical. The disorder is genetical. So, but when I was diagnosed in 2018, it was very much late, because once you become an adult, there is no way to cure it. After you become an adult, there is no way to cure it. No medication can cure it. If you are not an adult, if you are a teenager or if you are a child, then it is curable. And in most cases it gets cured, but after you become an adult, then there is no way. So it was very difficult. But after 2018, I for the first time I started treatment. I started going to psychiatrists and counselors and taking therapies, and so I'm still continuing my medicines. As I'm saying that I have depression and anxiety, and it's chronic. Like, it's not that sometimes people ask me like, why are you so depressed? Why are you so full of anxiety? Why do you think about? What do you think about? And I'm like, I don't think about anything, and I am not depressed about anything. Actually, it is due to chemical imbalance in the brain. The dopamine levels are very low of my brain. My brain can't generate enough amount of dopamine. So this is the reason. It's a chemical imbalance.
Yes.
There's a chemical reason. There's a not a psychological reason, but a chemical reason.
You have broken world records for writing achievements. How did you get interested in pursuing these records? And what was it like to achieve a world record?
Actually, after getting into the writing field, I was very passionate. Like, I'm still very passionate about writing. And then one day a plan came into my mind, like, what if I make an anthology consist 400 poems from 400 different writers, like, and from all over the world. So the thought was pretty much crazy. Like people can't even think, like, how can you manage, and how can you find writers from all over the world? It is going to be very difficult now. And I was like, I this is my wish. I want to do it, and I have to do it at all cost. So I started contacting writers from all over the world. Like, hi, I am Abhinaba Dutta. I'm a writer from India. Would you like to participate in my anthology? It is going to be a world record anthology. And this is how I became friends with many writers from all over the world, from Africa, from different parts of Africa, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from many, and from the UK, from America, from Australia, from Fiji, FIJI, Fiji. Fiji is also a country, Fiji, and from New Zealand, from Bangladesh, from Pakistan, and from many other nations. So it took me around, I think, more than 6 months of time to complete the anthology, because there were so many writers, and I had to edit, and I had to, compile the book. It was very hard for me, as it had more than, I think, 400 plus writers, more than 450 writers. So you can imagine the pain.
Yes. Can you tell us about your experience after publishing your work?
You mean my first book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was very surreal. In short, I would say that it was very surreal. Like, when for the first time, when I took my own book in my own hands, the moment was very surreal. Like, the book had my own name. It was written Abhinaba Dutta, and that was very much surreal. The moment was very much magical. Like, I couldn't even believe that one day my books would be on Amazon. Like, if you search my name on Google, or if you search my name on Amazon, you can actually see my books. I never ever imagined. So I'm very much, I think, God in our lives, in all our lives, um, you know, God does have a key role.
Yes.
Many people don't believe in God. Many people don't believe in God and religion. They think that's, in scientific world you shouldn't be talking about. But I'm not talking about God in that sense, like being a stupid or unscientific. I'm talking about God in general, I'm talking about faith, actually. Like, you should have faith in yourself, and most people can't have faith in yourself.
Yes.
Most people are very pessimistic.
Yes.
But when you believe in God, you become very optimistic. That's the beauty of believing in God, because you can't be optimistic by yourself. If you believe in God, if you believe that that person, that special powerful deity can do wonders, then you become optimistic. By yourself you can't become optimistic. It is very hard. So
Yes.
God has played a major role in all this, and I am very much grateful to God for whatever He has done for me.
Can you tell us about the misconceptions that you have heard about ADHD in your writing career?
Misconceptions. The misconception that actually people think that which I was saying, that people don't understand the concept of mental disorders. They think that either a person can be either fully normal or fully abnormal. A normal person can't have any problems. That is the fault. And when I say to someone that I have ADHD, they're like, "You are absolutely normal. You don't have any problem." And I'm like, "Bro, I myself know. I know it very well that I'm normal. I'm not saying I'm abnormal, but I'm saying I have a problem, which you might not understand." And ignorance, actually, what I have understood, that ignorance is not a fault. If you are ignorant, it's not a fault. The fault, what is the fault? The fault is
Yes.
when you think that you know everything, and when you don't want to learn anything. Like, I know anything,
Yes.
I know everything. Not ADHD is nothing. There's nothing as ADHD. That's nonsense. You just don't study. If you studied, then you would pass, or if you would do good in your exams. That is actually very what do I say? Like, it's very bad actually. Ignorance is never a fault.
Hello.
Ignorance is actually blessing. If you are ignorant, only then you can
Uh,
acquire knowledge. But when
so
you think that you know everything, you won't you would not actually want to learn anything from anyone, because you'll think that you know everything. So why would you even let anyone let you talk about something? So ignorance is not a fault, but the fault is not wanting to know about the things you don't know.
what's something interesting about you that people might or might not know?
Interesting is that more than writing, I am much more interested in filmmaking. A lot of people think that I think I filmmaking is the most beloved thing I like to do. But yeah, sorry, I was going to say, a lot of people think that writing is the most beloved thing I like to do. But yes, writing is one of my the things that I like to do. But more than writing, I like to do filmmaking. Like, I have a very deep-seated passion for filmmaking. Like, I really love filmmaking. I just enjoy watching BTS videos. BTS, I mean, behind the scene videos, not the BTS band. So, because that much passionate I am about filmmaking.
Tell us about your favorite books or films.
My
Yes.
favorite fiction book is Arundhati Roy's The God of Small Things. And my favorite nonfiction is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And my favorite film is Orson Welles' The Citizen Kane. It is my favorite film. And I have other favorite films like Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan, and many other films. But most favorite is Orson Welles' The Citizen Kane.
Can you tell us about any upcoming projects that you're working on?
Upcoming projects, I am planning to launch another anthology, and I had a plan actually to launch a book with many writers from all over the world. So I'm planning to launch that book as soon as possible.
Any advice that you'll give to upcoming authors?
Uh, I would say that if you want to be a good writer or a good filmmaker, or if you want to be good at anything, just love your work. Just love what you are doing. Just love the work, and and you don't have to look back.